I think we can jump straight to the RTM rule, because this is very significant, and how this plays into whether you would want to retain a player or send him into the auction with the risk of that new rule for the RTM. Let's break the new rule down. Yash?
Yeah, so essentially, as opposed to previous RTM cycles, and the RTM card hasn't existed for some time, the last mega auction did not have the option available. But if you go back to 2014 and 2018, when the RTM card was there to be exercised, it's you see a flat out bid, you have a winning bid, and then the team which owned the player in the season before that can simply raise the card and make the player theirs. But
Right.
now, even after the team in question, so let's say if an Arshdeep Singh for Punjab Kings, if Punjab choose not to retain him, is at the auction, someone else gets what you call the winning bid. If Punjab raise the RTM card, that team which has played the last bid will still get a chance to increase their bid and go beyond that RTM card. So that is what changes the dynamics.
And that increase can be any amount. So let's say, for example, they send
Yes.
Arshdeep in, the LSG and KKR are bidding for Arshdeep Singh, and they've got to about 12 crore. You ask Punjab, do you want to retain him? They say yes. You want to play the RTM? Yes. It goes back to the winning bid. Let's say it's with KKR, and they can make that 12, 14, 18. Tom, is this a good rule?
Yeah, I think it's an excellent rule. It's going to be intriguing to see whether teams up their bid, because more often than not, having been in that environment where you've bidded for a player, probably 9 times out of 10, you've maxed out on your bid anyway with your own strategy, and to be thrown another challenge to up it by another crore or whatever it may be is only going to continue to stretch your budget and make it difficult for you down the line to recruit the balance of the squad that you're looking for. So I really cannot see too many teams going above and beyond, too much. If they're dead set on that player, they might go maybe 1, maximum 2 crore up to make sure they secure that player, because it may be the final piece to their puzzle. But it's going to be intriguing to see how that plays out.
I think the thing that strikes me is this is a rule that's in the interest of a player. Many times the bids never went high because you almost knew then that the RTM is going to come in. So what's the point? But here you're giving the chance for a player to get perhaps fair value.
Yeah, there's a really good example that I was involved with Shikhar Dhawan. We picked Shikhar was the first player to come out of the auction. I think it was 2 cycles ago. And we picked him up for around about, I think, 5.5 crore, which is way below what you'd expect a Shikhar Dhawan to command in that auction. We were over the moon. We retained a player that's been with us for a long time. We retained a high-quality Indian cap player, but he was clearly underpaid. And that then led to a little bit of uncertainty and restlessness with him being at the Sunrisers, and therefore we ended up trading him to Delhi Capitals because there was no sort of room for us to extend his payment beyond what the auction retention was.
Yeah,
that's I think what BCCI or rather IPL decided when they were talking in the intervening 2 months since meeting. What they wanted was the player should get as much benefit as monetary benefit as possible, because the players have expressed their disgruntlement about not being the market price not determining when the in the past when they have been retained for low price. Because I think the problem then was, especially the last 2 players retained, whatever the number 4 or 5, the retention amounts were very low, and they believed that they deserved more.
You guys have brought out what this means for the players, but I want to ask Tom around the team dynamic with this, around the RTMs with this change, and it's curious that you brought up 2018, Tom, because I was digging through your mega option cycles, and 2018 is an interesting case study where your Sunrisers retained 2 players, allowed yourselves 3 RTM cards, and were able to exercise all 3 at the auction. Dhawan, as you pointed out, at 5.2. Rashid Khan, who went into the auction that time, you got him at an RTM for 9 crore, and then I think you got Deepak Hooda at 3.6. So clearly there was a strategy but is that strategy not as watertight with this change in RTM rules from a team's perspective?
I think, to be honest with you, I think the RTM is linked to the actual the downscaling of the payments. A lot of teams are going to be thinking long and hard about how much do they retain beyond 3 players, because as it stands at the moment, my understanding, the first retention is 18 crore, the second is 14 crore, the third is 11 crore. And then if you're retaining that 4th person, that jumps back up to 18. So to me, that is going to be the talking point on the agenda, on the first thing on the agenda when every team gets together and starts their strategy planning, is that do we go beyond 3 retentions because we've got the ability to right to match the last 3, because that's a hell of a hit to retain the 4th person to jump up to 18 crore. And that's where this right to match could be very, very interesting, how that plays out.